with SOS, if you combine our recovery engine, which is timeline-based, with the versioning system, it means that you can really roll back your system to any point in time. And probably the easiest way to convey this point is to show you. So let me just fire up the product. So here on screen is my recovery view for my SOS account. You can see I've got quite a lot of machines here, so demonstrating the multiple machines per account feature as well. And this is me just selecting to look at my backups as of today. So these are all the computers that I've got protected in my environment today. We go back, and sorry, I'm in the SOS recovery wizard here. So in this calendar control, you can see I can click back through the months, and where there's these days in bold, that's when backups have run on this account. I can go all the way back. In fact, I can keep, if I go back, I'm back to 2009 now. I can keep going back, go back to 2008. So it's the 15th of October 2008. If I look at this, you'll see, oh, okay, I had one computer being backed up in my environment on the 15th of October 2008. So what I can do here is I can roll back that entire machine. I can recover that entire machine as at that point in time, which is extremely powerful. There's no other system on the market that lets you do this. If I roll forward and pick a date sometime in 2009, for example, I think we're going to see that I've got more machines then added into that environment. So what it gives you is a fully cocooned and isolated snapshot of your data environment at every point in time when backups have run, no matter how long ago that was. We've got some customers with files in the system going back to 2001. So it really is one of the most powerful data recovery engines available in the market. I think it's the most powerful, but take that with a grain of salt. I'm relatively biased. And then last feature I'll highlight is the archiving system. There's another subtle gotcha built into the online backup industry, which is that most vendors make a distinction between archiving and backup. And they are distinct, and they should be distinguished between, but not necessarily in the way that our competition do. So again, picking on Mozy, if you're backing up a computer and you have a folder and it's backing up to the cloud, and then you delete that folder from your PC, Mozy will then delete that from their cloud on the basis that it would no longer be a backup if they moved it to the cloud. It would now be an archive. Well, we did a study of our users' behavior, and we found that more than 60% of single file recoveries on our system were from accidental deletions. So knowing that, we thought it was crazy to not build archive, because in that scenario where you accidentally delete some content, most online backup providers are then going to also delete that from the cloud. And it's the age-old problem of data mirroring, where when A and B are being mirrored, if you trash A, the mirroring technology usually then trashes B. So SOS has got archiving built into it. In our scenario, if you delete that file locally, it's not going to be deleted from the cloud. We're never going to remove anything from the cloud unless you tell us to. If you explicitly delete it from the cloud, obviously it'll be removed. All right, so we've got some technology questions here. Let me turn to. So a question here from Stephen. Any solution for Canadian clients who are not allowed to send backup data outside of Canada? Regulatory issue. Any plans for Canadian data center? Yes, Stephen, sorry. When I said North America earlier, I included Canada. We've got a data center in Toronto. So we've got quite a lot of Canadian partners. And for that very reason, we set up a data center in Toronto last January. So many of your compatriots are using that facility. Steve asks, SQL databases tend to be very sensitive to backups. A file-based approach does not work. How do you handle SQL other databases? Steve, I'm not sure what you mean by a file-based approach does not work. Our experience is that a file-based approach works pretty well for SQL databases. So we do take a file-based approach to SQL Server backup. So long as you've got your MDF and your LDF files, SQL Server is very recoverable. But if you can shed more light on that, then happy to comment. David asks, when using the web integration, do we have full access to pricing, and what is started when using the sample templates? David, as an overall theme of our partnership program, you're always in charge of pricing. So you've absolutely got, you're in charge of your customer relationship, and you're in charge of how you price the solution. So through the web integration package, you're absolutely going to have control of your pricing. And the sample templates are just an example of what you can use to get started. So they're all very customizable. Terence asks, can you back up NAS devices that aren't OS-based? Yes, Terence, we can. So long as you can connect to that NAS device from where you're running the SOS software, you can absolutely back that up. Again, most of our competition don't let you back up NAS or network locations because they want you to buy more licenses, and we don't restrict that. Vladimir asks, can it have full HDD image in recovery in case HDD fails? We don't do a disk image, Vladimir, and the reason is disk images are just too heavyweight from a data standpoint. So we hope as bandwidth improves, we've got disk imaging technology, but in terms of building that into the core online backup experience, that's something we'll do when we feel there's adequate bandwidth in the market. Most of our customers have bandwidth issues as it is, so bandwidth is still a major challenge facing the backup industry. It's got a lot better, and now that broadband is really proliferating in the US, things are a lot better, but probably still not to the point where we can easily move around a 200 gigabyte disk image per PC. Think about a standard office environment and where you're doing 200 gig images per PC with 50 computers, you're now dealing with 5 terabytes of data when you could probably have done the same backup with 200 gigabytes if you'd been taking a file folder approach. Dimple asks, how do you handle open files? Open PSTs are the worst of all. Dimple, on my machine, I've got a 8 gigabyte Outlook PST that I use intensively, and it backs up every day at 5 p.m., and I never shut Outlook. So our open file backup engine is very robust, and Outlook PSTs are probably one of the most common types of documents we back up. So no problems there. All right, let's look at the SOS partner model. I'm going to flip through some of these slides. So going back to one of the things I said earlier in the presentation, everything you see at SOS is rebrandable. So we've got more than 400 fully white-labeled online backup providers using our platform. We provide a platform as a service. So all of our products and services are built around customizable back-end web services with branded front-end software and web portals. We can actually also brand our sales and technical support services, which we'll talk about I think on the next slide. But generally, everything you see is very customizable. So these are on screen here is a diagram representing all of the elements of the partner solution. This is the package that you get as an SOS partner. So infrastructure we've talked a little about. You get access to all of our global data centers, and that can include in-country specific locations. So if you're in Canada, the United Kingdom, or Australia, then you can specify that you want your data to stay in those countries, or the United States, of course. So we've got country-specific options for Australia, the USA, Canada, and the UK. Any geographies outside of that would go to one of those geographies. From a product and software standpoint, all of our product can be white-labeled and skinned for you. And that process usually takes about a week from when you become a partner to when we deliver you a fully branded software solution. Billing, from a billing standpoint, there are a lot of options. We can help you bill your customers. We can help you integrate with PayPal or Authorize.net. There's a full web services kit that you can hook into if you want to build your own account management solution. There's also just a very simple billing relationship where we can bill you wholesale for the amount of space on our grid, and you control all of the billing relationships with your customers. Dimple's got a follow-up question I might have missed. Are you backing up only the changed files and normalizing it on the back end for finding a file for a particular day? Dimple, effectively that's what we're doing. It's not actually what we're doing, but that's the user experience. We are only backing up the differences. Oh, you're saying the changed files. Well, we go one step further. We don't just back up the changed files. We only back up the changes within the changed files. And then on the fly, when you do your recovery, we will magically put everything back together. So you'll get a full file back out, but we're definitely not sending a full file over the network. The daily backup is usually less than 1% of the total backup set size, so it's extremely efficient. Back to the partner offering. Marketing and sales support. These are very popular topics. One of the things we discovered among our partners about a year ago was that whilst we had a lot of partners who were very technically savvy, our partners were having trouble with the sales and marketing aspect of online backup. So typical partner profile for us might be a 3-man IT reseller with 50 customers, for example, and they were looking for a lot more sales and marketing assistance from us than we were giving. So we put together a whole new partnership program around our account management team and a new resource called our Partner Resource Center, which I've got up here on screen. And you can find this later by going to the Resellers tab of our site and clicking on Partner Resource Center. And the Partner Resource Center is a lot of marketing and sales support materials for you. So everything from email templates for you to drive interest among your customers to pricing guidelines, which we will be working with you on during the delivery phase to help you price your product appropriately for the market you're in, sales presentation templates, a full disaster recovery plan template, proposal templates, presentations like the one I'm giving today, a white paper on tape versus online backup. All of that's just within the marketing bucket. And then training I'm going to talk about on a separate slide. So there's quite a depth of marketing resources for you to leverage, but then also sales resources. One of the more unique things about our company is that our whole sales department is set up to work for you. What I mean by that is you're probably already talking to an SOS partner specialist. That's probably how you found out about today's webinar. And the partner specialist's main job is to work with you to sell to your customers. So they are a resource that you can actually use in your customer-facing engagements. They can run a webinar like this for you and your customers. They can talk to your larger prospects. You can bring them into your calls as your sales engineer. You should lean on them very heavily. So they become an extension of your sales force in a way that gets you rapidly into the market. 6 months in, you probably don't need that kind of help, but in the first 90 days, that level of support is crucial. Training resources. This is something I think that is, again, really crucial to that initial success in the market. We've got 3 streams of training that go on at the company, and they happen every single day in dynamic seminars that we do, so webinar-driven seminars that are delivered every day. And there's also been ample pre-baked training materials in that Partner Resource Center I was just talking about. So there's product trainings in there, support trainings, as well as sales trainings. So we've got different streams for each of your teams. If you're a one-man shop, then you can attend all 3 streams, but if you're a slightly larger firm, then it's quite specialized. So your support folk can go through the support training, everybody goes to the general technology training, and your sales team can attend the sales training. And then last but not least, tech support. Partners get 24/7 technical support via phone for level 3 escalations. We generally don't take level 1 and 2, but we can. So if that interests you, then talk to your partner specialist about that. All right, got some more questions here. Doug asks, what are restore expectations for the customer? No less than an hour? Is there a time associated? Doug, it's totally determined by the bandwidth on your end. Most corporate DSL and cable connections means you're going to be able to recover your data. Your most critical data are usually in under an hour. Typically, mission-critical data is going to be a database for a medium-sized business, or perhaps some email files for a smaller business, all of which usually is in the low single digits of gigs, so 5, 10 gigs, 15, 20 gigs. And so depending on the speed of your connection, 1 to 2 hours is a reasonable time to get that data back. Interesting anecdote, most of the recovery